Okay, and then LeBron has made history again, but this time for something very different. So he's the first ever pro male athlete to receive a Barbie Kenbassador doll. Based thoughts on this upcoming drop, because personally I decided.
She hasn't even finished her sentence yet, and he's already laughing. What's good, you guys? It is Gypsy, and I am flabbergasted right now. I got a suggestion for a video to watch from YouTube on my feed, and it brought me over to this channel, Come and Talk to Me, which is the home of a channel that shows content from like a podcast called It Is What It Is, hosted by two celebrities. One is rapper Mace and the other is rapper Cam'ron. If you guys are familiar with 90s 2000s rap, then I don't need to explain to you who these people are. But if you didn't grow up in that era, well, then you're gonna have to do some Googling. So that's the significance of this podcast. But as you can see here on their homepage, they have a clip from one of their podcast episodes. The whole show is right here, the hour-long show. Luca's revenge game, yada yada yada. This is the one that was suggested to me, and I want to take a look at it right quick with you guys to see if these guys, who are complete laymen when it comes to dolls, have something to add to this conversation about the LeBron James doll, which is soon to be released. April 14th is the date of release according to Mattel Creations. You know, they over here hyping it up. They didn't give us all this time to prepare for the Aaliyah doll, but all of a sudden they giving you all this time to prepare for this guy. Let's just see what they have to say about it, and maybe they'll surprise us, maybe they won't. I just want to know, is my perspective as a doll collector much different than what these guys think about this doll, coming from people who have nothing to do with dolls? But on the flip side, you know, these guys are men. Both of these guys actually played basketball when they were in school and had designs of going off to the NBA to play professionally, so they're more in tune with following basketball and sports in general than I am when I was commentating about the LeBron James doll in the first place. So let's take a look.
Okay, and then LeBron has made history again, but this time for something very different. So he's the first ever pro male athlete to receive a Barbie Kenbassador doll. He said, as an adult, I understand how vital it is for young people to have positive figures to look up to. That's why partnering with Barbie to release the LeBron James Kenbassador doll is such an honor. Based thoughts on this upcoming drop, because personally I decided.
Okay, already I'm seeing two red flags. So the first thing is when she said that quote that was supposed to be LeBron responding about his doll. She said that he mentioned that it's important for young people to have someone to look up to. Who are these young people you're referring to, LeBron? I said this in my initial reaction to this doll when I was saying LeBron James is a liar. He be gaslighting people into thinking one thing when it's really something else constantly. And he just says stuff. He just says any random thing that he thinks sounds good and hopes that you're not going to question him any further than that. Who are these young people? LeBron, do you not realize that the doll costs $75? What are you talking about? What kind of young people are buying this doll to add to their playline set of dolls to be looking at as some kind of inspiration? Like, this is a collectible doll that's for adults. Adults ain't looking up to you. Like, what are you talking about? Why is LeBron James like this? He's so full of himself. Second red flag. Mace, why are you laughing? She hasn't even finished her sentence yet, and he's already laughing. I don't know if that's a good reaction to something like this off rip. This is a God. Yo, this is a black man who knows very well how important it is for black men to be portrayed in a positive light out here. All right, especially he would know because of if you know the history of Mace and his career, he would know. He's already laughing? Yeah.
What is the dog gonna be?
Him.
Oh man, I don't know what to say to this. Shout out to LeBron. Shout out to Rich Paul. Is another power move, I guess. I'm not sure of how to look at that. Like,
Wow, okay, he just said it's another power move, I guess. Now, if you know anything about Mace and Cam'ron on this show, you know these guys are very diplomatic when it comes to wording things a certain way because they know people like LeBron are very sensitive and they like to have temper tantrums, like the one that was recently blasted all over the internet when LeBron basically tried to cuss out Stephen A. Smith and intimidate him on the court because he got upset that Stephen A. criticized him as a parent for using nepotism to get his son, who is completely unskilled in playing basketball, to be able to play in the NBA with him on the Lakers team. When Cam and Mace did a reaction to that, they were very choosy about how they were wording things because they already know how this guy is. And if you know anything about hip-hop rappers and rap culture, it's like a thing to be ironic and sarcastic sometimes when you're like telling your opinion about something for the laugh. Hang out with some black guys, you'll know what I'm talking about. They have a tendency to downplay certain things in the way that they word things. So when he just said shout out to LeBron, shout out to Rich Paul, like he's basically clowning them by saying it like that. Like he's trying to be funny. He's trying to be ironic by saying shout out to you guys, power play. Wow, you guys are big shots. You got a whole doll. God. Black people. This is hilarious.
A male doll?
Yeah.
Who's gonna be playing with a male doll?
I mean, growing up, we had Barbie and Ken, so we had male dolls.
Okay. So girls are gonna be playing with the doll.
I mean, I feel like y'all didn't, when you were growing up, you didn't have action figures, like.
Yeah, but it wasn't Barbies. It was like G.I. Joe and stuff like that.
LeBron is somebody's G.I. Joe.
They already confused. See, he's trying to envision in his mind what kids are playing with a LeBron James doll getting inspired by it. Like I said earlier, kids are playing with your doll. LeBron, really? It's $75 whole. What are you talking about? The girl who's talking here, she's their co-host. She's much younger than them. She's in her 20s. So her perspective, and she's a female, so her perspective on dolls and playing with dolls is slightly different. But you know she's not a collector because she already missed this point of the Barbie doll is $75 whole freaking dollars. It is a collectible. It's not playline. It's not meant for children to play with. So I get where she's coming from when she's saying that we have Ken dolls and they're the boyfriends. I get where she's going with it. These dudes are looking at her like this don't make no kind of sense. But they're much older than her. I know you guys can't tell from looking at these guys, but these dudes are like in their 50s or something. They're older.
Yeah, you're right. And that's why I'm asking the question. I'm trying to get educated.
No, this is great.
I don't know how to feel about this. I think LeBron has done tremendous for what he's done on the basketball field and basketball court and what he's done off the court. I think it's time, and this is just an observation, where our climate is and where society is now. I think it's time for probably LeBron to start embracing more of a human role and showing himself in different ways, because it seems like our society today is just taking all of our figures and destroying them after they are done doing what they're doing. So I think it would be probably in his best interest to start, showing his humanity a little bit more and not trying to look so pristine.
Ooh, I'm telling you guys, this is what I'm talking about. Homie is being so diplomatic. He don't want to just come out and be like, LeBron, stop fronting. It's time for you to just be a normal person. You out here acting like you's a legend. Calm down. That's basically what he means, but he can't say it like that because he's on TV. Yo, this is pretty deep. Okay, one of the things that he's talking about as far as our figures being destroyed, right? After they get what they need to get out of you. They toss you to the curb type of situation. I found it interesting in my reaction to the LeBron James doll release announcement when I said, why he not wearing basketball clothes? Why he out here in just like a regular old outfit? Well, here's my hypothesis on why that happened. For one, when Mattel creates dolls, they work a few years in advance. So if this doll was going to be released in 2025, then that means the team started working on this doll probably back in like 2001 or a little bit later than that. The track record with LeBron James is nobody knows how long he's gonna last on a basketball team, because if he gets irritated enough not having enough so-called help or getting things done his way, he will just quit on you. This man done jumped around from so many teams already in his 20-year career. It's just part of his reputation at this stage. Like, nobody knows. No one knows how long he'll last. And he had been talking about possibly moving on from the Lakers if his son wasn't going to come over and play with him on the Lakers. Kind of like, you know, trying to strong arm the Lakers team into accepting his son as a player, even though this boy can't play. So it doesn't surprise me that they didn't put him in a Lakers jersey, because Lord knows if by the time they release the doll, LeBron James might not even be playing on that team no more. So wishy-washy. Lord knows. But meanwhile, he wants to be seen as some type of a legend. He wants people to look at him as the greatest of all time basketball player, which he isn't. So, of course, it makes sense that instead of being in basketball clothing, he's gonna approve a design where he's just wearing regular old clothes, promoting his charities instead. When Mace says he needs to focus more on being a human, like showing the human side of him, this is all part of that. He's so obsessed with making people think that he's so, like Mace said, pristine. He never makes a mistake. He doesn't do anything wrong. He's always right. He's the best. He's amazing. He can never be corrected. That people have lost respect for him as a basketball player and a so-called leader of his team over the years, you know? So to take that persona and then try to like superimpose that onto an inspiring man Barbie doll is a joke. What in the world?
Cam.
Cool.
Okay, Cam is a little bit less refined than Mace, so I don't know what's gonna come out of his mouth. Expect some possible beeping and censoring that might need to get done for his part, but let's see what he says.
Hey, real quick, a shout out, because we give Rich Paul a lot of shout outs up here, and I shout out to Rich, and he handles a lot of things with the sports. But we don't shout out Maverick Carter not enough, and I believe he's the one who probably did this deal. I don't know this for a fact, but I want to give a shout out to Maverick as well. Barbie right now, Mattel, the toy collection that Barbie's a part of, Barbie's valued at $750 million right now.
All right, again, here we go. This is how you know these guys are total laymen. They're not even familiar enough with the name of the company that runs Barbie that he don't even know how to pronounce that name. Cam, it's not Martell, it's Mattel. There ain't no R in there. He merged Barbie and Mattel together and got Martell. Anyway.
LeBron James, I was doing some homework on this. The LeBron James doll is going to go from anywhere from $75 to $100. Yeah, $75 to $100. So I'm not sure exactly how much he got for in advance. I'm not sure if he's going to get residuals off the doll being sold. Barbie's almost $1 billion business. I never played with dolls. That wasn't my thing. Even when Cabbage Patch Kids was lit, that wasn't my thing. But what I take from it is this is just as a society where we going at. We just got to look at how it is. You got the Barbie house, you got the Barbie doll. They put a black nigga with the white bitch. I'm not mad at it.
Well, damn. Cam is ridiculous. Oh my gosh. So he's over here saying you got LeBron, the black male doll for the Barbie dream house to be paired up with lily white, blonde hair, blue-eyed Barbie. Here we go. That's what he's saying. Oh my gosh. For me, that's totally irrelevant because we already know that Barbie has a huge catalog of dolls to choose from that are many different representations of races, male and female. We've got all kinds of races being represented, and these guys are very unfamiliar with the Barbie brand. I think this is really interesting though, because as black men who are older than me, and I'm basically gonna be 40 this year, they don't associate black male characters with the Barbie brand. And I don't blame them, because I know so many of you guys who watch this are from other countries or are very new to doll collecting, so it doesn't really like cross your mind how different things are right now in the Barbie brand when it comes to cultural representation as it used to be back in the day when everything you saw from Barbie was white. Here and there, one or two dolls were made to include other people. Barbie's Asian friend, Kara, Leia, Barbie's Hispanic friend, Teresa. Like, it was only like, we only have room for one, you know? Barbie's black friend, Chrissy. This is hilarious. And the only black male character we had was Steven for a long time, with his goofy smile, right? So it really doesn't surprise me that these guys are reacting the way that they are, because I'm sure they're shocked at the notion that Barbie would go out of their way to make a black male celebrity into a doll. He's just part of the dream house now, you know? And he's not a gay guy? Like, they're shocked. They're like, what? Where did this come from? I'm not even surprised that they're reacting like this, but there is a consensus within the black community in this country that once a black man becomes successful, they tear him away from black society by pairing him up with beautiful white women, kind of making him, what's the word I'm looking for? Turn away from his culture and his race because he's mating with someone who's not part of the race, which is very controversial for people in the community when they talk about that. You know, it's not looked at as a good thing, because it's like, well, you hate me when I'm broke, but when I'm successful, now you love me, now you want me to come be part of the group. What's that all about? You know, there's that consensus within the culture. But as far as I'm concerned, I feel like Cam'ron is looking too far into that. I don't know. I mean, these guys are from a different time than me. Maybe that's what they see. But again, this is what I'm saying. Like, as a parent, Cam'ron is looking at this like, is that what we're trying to represent here? If so, I don't know if I want my kids to feel like that's some type of inspiration to them, that their option for a black male figure to play with Barbie is LeBron James. Now he can be here in the dream house with the sea of white faces. Like, that's kind of how these guys are looking at it. So that's interesting.
Yeah, Kelly. Yeah, when you could have said that. So let me ask you this. Let's put you out there. You would actually have a fire doll then? You put the pink fur on with the white girls?
I'm gonna be honest.
Would you do a doll? Would you let them do you a doll?
I got mad dolls. It's just that I don't be a part of it. Somebody tagged me in a doll today. It's a mad dolls. Matter of fact, let's go to a picture of the doll, man. I don't get no money off this. I don't got nothing to do with it. Nigga just be making it.
Does anyone in the community know where this picture is coming from? This is like an AI mock-up of a doll. Anybody know?
Collaborate and do it the right way, then yeah, if it's some chicken and it makes sense, cool. But you know, for me, it wouldn't be Barbie and Ken. For me, it's more like collector's items. Oh, I got the Cam'ron pink fur doll or whatever it is. Cause I'm not even capping. Last time Nick posted while we talking about it, nigga tagged me today. I got a pink doll. So the case is, it's me with a pink doll, a gun, a cell phone, and some other shit in there. I don't get nothing off of it. I think the reason why people, and maybe Mace is looking at it like I don't know what to say about it, because when you think about Barbie, you think of females and you think of feminine and young ladies playing with it. And that's the first thing that comes to mind when it comes to Barbie. Like when Stat just said, Mace, so you got G.I. Joe, you got He-Man, you got Transformers. But when you think of the word
So basically in his ghetto way, he's basically saying like, LeBron, why did you agree to make yourself into a Barbie doll when Barbie is synonymous with women and children, girls who play with these toys? What about this demographic are you trying to align yourself with that you think you're inspiring? Who are you trying to inspire? Like, it's a little strange. Why did you go with Barbie? I get where he's coming from. I totally get where he's coming from. Again, as a collector, y'all saw when I did my reaction to that doll. From a Barbie collector standpoint, I can see the technical things about the doll that stands out that I like. But if you're over here trying to represent this celebrity as somebody inspiring that we're supposed to be looking up to, it's like, why did you pick him? Why of all the people, the first one in the series, why did y'all pick him? Like, who he's supposed to be inspiring? He's a basketball player. Who on earth is he supposed to be inspiring in the demographic that Barbie caters to? What was the point of that? I said that. These guys are saying basically the same thing. They're just saying it in their hood way.
Barbie, you just think of females, so that's why Some people may just look at it like that. I look at it as they going interracial. So when you buy the whole Barbie kit, the new nigga is a black nigga in the house. How white mothers and fathers gonna feel about that?
Okay, so everybody in my family is moving around the house now, making a bunch of background noise. So let me wrap this up as much as I can. So here, basically, Cam is posing this question of what are white parents gonna say when their daughters are saying that they want this black guy added to their Barbie dream house? How are they gonna feel about this? This is a good question, but again, I don't think that that's as relevant as it may feel like to him, because he doesn't understand the demographic of Barbie doll lovers. Even parents who are shopping for their kids at this stage, a lot of them are very woke or trying to pretend that they are publicly. I've seen white parents buy dolls for their kids that are not white dolls, almost insisting that their kids play with dolls that are more diverse looking. So I don't really think that that's as big of an issue as it might have been when we were kids. But at the same time, you know, who the hell is LeBron James? Like, a lot of people don't even really understand who he is, the significance of him as a person. They just know he's a celebrity who plays basketball. Like, that's almost as far as their knowledge of him goes. So again, these are two grown black men who are into basketball, who are familiar with LeBron James. They're all celebrities. They all run in the same circles, you know? Their first reactions to this doll is not, oh my gosh, it's so dope, that's crazy, that's all of that we have these dolls. They don't feel like that. They are looking at this kind of sus, like, what's going on really here? Is there some kind of underlying message here that we're not privy to? They're not looking at this doll with all this excitement, and I think that that's very significant. I don't think it's because they're men and they don't really care about Barbies or dolls in general, because they did talk about their own possible dolls being made and action figures, so they're not completely like oblivious to the significance of having a doll made after you. But the dolls that Cam'ron is talking about, like, of himself, those are like custom dolls that people, his fans, probably did. I don't think that it's a situation where they're just trying to hate on LeBron because they're jealous. These guys are way more successful than LeBron ever will be. There's no reason for them to be hating on him. They're keeping it real. They come from a generation where men were held accountable for whatever they said that they were gonna do, and if you didn't pull through, people were gonna clown you and stop taking you serious. You have to prove yourself. This generation, like May said earlier, we're in a place where things are very different. Like he said, they will destroy our leaders and our public figures when they're done using you. And it's like, when basketball's over, no one's gonna remember LeBron's name. Nobody's gonna care. He's no longer gonna be in these weird debates about who is truly the greatest basketball player of all time between him or Michael Jordan. Give me a break. His career has just been like pushed on people because there's a weird rhetoric going on in our society here in America right now for the past handful of years, where they want to soften all the men around us and make the men less accountable, make the men identify less with masculinity, whatever that means, make the men in general feel like they should be coddled and given a pass whenever they make mistakes, whenever something doesn't go right. Somebody needs to come and bail them out and save them and not hold them accountable for anything. Yet they should still have all the respect and the honor that a hard-working man who is being held accountable, who is a good leader, would just naturally have. That makes no sense. This is why there's so many women out here crying that they can't find good men to help run their households and father their children properly, because this narrative is just all over the place, and you're a crazy person if you're not PC and just accept that times are changing. And why would you expect anything more out of these men than anyone else? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, these guys think that that narrative is gross. They didn't grow up like that. They think it's weird. You know, these guys are fathers. Like, they don't want to raise their sons to emulate that type of behavior, because the world is cold. And when you are a man out here in the world trying to take care of yourself as an adult, nobody feels sorry for you. Nobody cares. If you don't get it right, if you don't have your rent money on time, you're getting evicted. There is no sob story that you're going to tell your landlord to make him feel sorry for you to give you an extra month or two to get your act together. That's just not how the real world works. But in LeBron's world, that is how it works. So I just thought it was interesting to take a look at these people's take on the whole situation, being as though they are not Barbie doll fans. but they are way more in tune with the sports arena and LeBron James as a person than I am. And I just wanted to see if they had some drastically different things to say about the notion of this doll launching over what I had to say. I was so shocked at the comments that I was finding on the video that I did covering this doll. A lot of you guys had some really good points to make. Timothy's Toy Therapy is one of my friend's channels, and look at this, where he polled his audience and said, will you be buying Kenbassadors LeBron James? 54% of people said hell to the no. Who are these people marketing to? Do they understand their audience? Like, Barbie, what are y'all doing? I just think this is so interesting, you guys. What is the narrative that they are trying to push upon the public with a doll like this? You might as well have just packaged up Diddy. Like, that's really how I'm looking at it. You might as well have, and I wouldn't shame you for buying a Diddy doll. Diddy is a horrible person. He's a great musician, he's a good producer, he's a good artist, but he's a horrible person. We all know this. But if Mattel was bold enough and insane enough to make a Diddy doll, for whatever their reasons, I don't know, maybe they put it into production years before all of the allegations came out, and they're like, well, we don't want to waste this face mold, so let's just make it. I ain't about to shame you because you want to buy it. I'm just like, I don't know if I would be saying this is somebody inspiring that we're adding to our collection. More like a villain who's up to no good, He's that weird teacher at the middle school who'd be giving a little too many compliments to the students all the time, and they be whispering amongst themselves like, don't be alone in the classroom with that guy. If he offer you extra help, shoot, you better just be willing to fail that test. It ain't worth it. You know what I'm saying? That would make sense. Is there like a villainous man doll line that we're trying to do, Mattel? No. If that was the case, I'm like, yeah, have at it. But that's kind of how I look at this doll. It's like, LeBron, use a joke. Just stop. You're crazy out here. You're delusional. Your idea of what you think you are to the public is not the same as what you actually are to the public. It's not like that. And especially people in this community, the black community, you got a long ways to go. You don't measure up to our actual real leaders who are worth turning into dolls. Why you don't want to do a Malcolm X doll? Why you don't want to do a Martin Luther King doll? Like, of all the people that you guys could pick from to do that, would have made so much more sense. Even with the flaws that those men had, it would have made more sense because of the impact that they had on the community. This guy, he only impacted his own ego. What did you guys think about what Mace and Cam had to say about this doll? Leave it in the comment section. I'm Gypsy. You're watching Broken Dolly TV. Make sure you check out the links in the description box if you're looking for some new dolls to add to your collection, like the Barbie Basics dolls or some floating acrylic display shelves that will help you to display your beautiful dolls and save some space. I'll see you later. Have a dolly day.